Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Chill Bill Smith.
What's up, Omari? It's good to be back. Thank you for having me. As always, I love doing this thing. I love getting told what to watch. I love thinking of clever things to answer to your movies. I love showing you fancy movies that you wouldn't ever choose to watch for yourself. But maybe most of all, I love showing you karate movies from when I was a child.
Not gonna lie, that's one of my favorite parts about this thing. That's right. And this week we got a doozy. We have 1998, 1993. 1993's Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas from 1993, rated PG. Two boys learn from a mysterious warrior that they are the heirs to the throne of Patu-san and set out to overthrow the current monarchy. It is directed by Neil Israel, written by Dan Gordon, and it stars Ernie Reyes Sr., Ernie Reyes Jr., Rob Schneider, and Leslie Nielsen. Omari, you knew of the concept of surf plus ninjas.
Yes.
Before we went down this rabbit hole a few weeks ago with Three Ninjas.
Correct.
Where you asked, is this the one where they surf or something like
yeah,
that?
the surf ninjas and something like that, surfing. Yeah, I always got those two mixed up in my head because I hadn't seen either of them, and now I've seen both. So, again, bonuses of being on the show. So, yeah, I watched this movie, or I watched it earlier for this, but you know what I mean. I hadn't seen it, so at least with the title, if we're like, what am I expecting? With the title, I mean, it's Surf Ninjas, so I'm expecting ninjas that surf and possibly are stoners. Because, yeah, party dude is what I got, but I think 90s surfer. I'm not sure if that's how they actually acted, but that's what's in my head. So, yeah. So that's what I was expecting, but I was not expecting Leslie Nielsen.
No, he is not. I added Leslie Nielsen's name. He is not he's not like on the posters.
Yeah.
No, yes, he is. Yes, he is on the posters. He's not on the IMDb stars.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he's in there. It's like, yeah, that was one of the things that caught me off guard. I'm like, more names in this movie than I thought would be. I thought it'd be just about as obscure of actors as Three Ninjas.
Yeah,
was.
So I probably don't even need to explain why I picked this. Obviously this is another one of those movies from my childhood. This is one of the most watched movies of my childhood. I know I maybe said that before, but there's probably like 10 to 25 movies that I have watched so many times.
Yeah.
But we can't, because of course money can't buy knives. So many times. Like I was so excited to pull this one out and get to show it to you, and for me to rewatch it after not seeing it for a good while. And I'm not even going to play around here. I'm not gonna waste anybody's time. This is a great movie.
I agree.
I have rewatched and I can confirm, great movie.
Oh my god. I've told you before, I'm a big fan of like product of its time 90s shit. So this movie just it's hilarious. It's got
I mean, you got Ernie Reyes Sr. was actually he was a mainstay in like the karate tournaments circuit,
okay.
like as a hired gun to like just kind of like, do a couple of announcements or a speech, hand a trophy to the winner kind of deal, special guest
Yeah.
stuff. He would tour uh karate and taekwondo dojos and give special seminars for some dollars, of course. And I knew him from that world and knew his son. Eagle-eyed like martial arts people of that time would know Ernie Reyes Jr. from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. He's the pizza delivery guy in that movie. Another prominent role for him would be in The Rundown with The Rock and Sean William Scott.
Who was he in The Rundown?
He's the guy who's kind of leads the gang in the middle of the jungle that ends up like trapping Sean William Scott and The Rock with one of those like hidden ankle rope traps.
Oh, okay.
And then him and The Rock fight for like their three freedom, the three of theirs freedom. That's Ernie Reyes Jr. older, but at this time he was just a young kid who was awesome, and I was obsessed with him and this movie, and this is probably the best thing that Rob Schneider has ever done.
Probably.
This is probably the most rewatchable Schneider.
Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it. It's the most rewatchable Schneider, because there were some moments where he was Rob Schneider, but then there were other ones where he's genuinely funny, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is some genuinely funny stuff. The can't buy knives.
Yeah,
that I was like, okay, that's actually a legit funny bit that they did with that whole scene.
Tone Loc is going to be in this film. As he's serving as like the audience surrogate. I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
I'm trying to keep you kids from getting kidnapped.
You know what? I need a vacation.
His voice was hilarious. Oh, his voice is awesome, is what I meant to say. But it helped make the lines hilarious too.
Okay, so let's get it. Do you have notes? Did you take some notes?
You
want to start going into some things?
Just go into it. Obviously,
as things open up, how do you feel?
Well,
it's surf montage.
The surf montage, it was pretty much as expected. I'm like, yep, all right, literally surfing to start the movie off. Okay, I get it. We got this. And I'm laughing at some of the lines early on because they're just like, we want to drive, but the man won't let us. Like, what? It was just so cheesy in the best way.
Yeah.
And early on, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, and you see the ninjas like flipping in the background and all of this shit. The sound effects they use throughout the movie and shit, but they get this vibe early on that these are some bad kids. Not doing anything their dad tells them to do. They go to school. They're talking about like not going to class and shit like that.
Yeah. The opening, we see them like completely belittle and cast aside their father. um, drive illegally. Like we see them do moto surfing, and then we immediately see that moto surfing is illegal. And then they get to school, and none of them know what they were supposed to know for school, or are prepared for said school.
Yeah, pretty much. And they had the and then you get to the fucking we have the bubble rum in the crowd. You can't, you better do this. We guaranteed him that it would be something from his land. Okay, yeah, I got it. Ba 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 ba. I was like, I might have seen
that song. I thought was Baba Ram for the longest time. I thought I when I hear that song, I hear Baba Ram, not Barbara Ann.
I still don't really hear Barbara Ann. I hear like Baba Ann. Like one word, Baba Ann. But that was funny, and I'm like, okay, of all the things to do, I don't know. The movie was it was good early on.
That's at the point where you're like, where you're like, oh, like Ernie Reyes Jr. has main character energy. Like that's the point where you're like, oh, okay, he's gonna be one of those. He's gonna be like Zach from Saved by the Bell. Like he's gonna have that kind of main character energy of just like nothing goes wrong for this guy.
Pretty much. When they first cut to Colonel Chi, and I'm like, okay, this guy's clearly the villain because he's got the like metal face and stuff. And then I'm like, this is fucking Leslie Nielsen. Yes, the fucking phone bit. The first time he did it, and I heard the answering machine just being like, I can't make it to the phone. Leave a message and don't hang up. I'm like, that's gonna be a bit throughout this movie. Hello. They hung up, Doc.
Yeah, I love it because he probably had like 2 days of shooting. he's in this movie with like 3 other people in the lens with him, and and he maximizes his screen time. But that phone bit is so fucking good. I love it's so like so many of these movies have been like, oh yeah, like, oh, that's cute. Yeah. If I put myself in like the mind of a 10-year-old, like, I'm not gonna lie, this one I was feeling like justified. I was like, this is a great phone bit right here. This is hilarious. Is that just a silly, stupid joke from when I was a kid? Which, speaking of which in this whole conversation, get this in more available hands. We had to watch a super low res copy on YouTube. Like, get this in rentable assets on Prime or Xbox Store or PlayStation Store or YouTube.
Fucking streaming, like, something on something.
Give a proper copy to us somewhere digitally, please.
I agree, because that is crazy that's the only way to really find it right now. But yeah, no, early on it's cool. Then you see, I liked the people like attacking or getting ready to attack, and the dude with the eye patch, where we later find out is Zatch. Yeah, Zatch, like
in real life, Ernie Reyes Sr.
Which I thought was dad. Which is what I thought was funny in the when I saw that in the credits. I'm like, they father and son. Okay, that's even more hilarious with Rob Schneider's whole bits of thinking that he's talking about him the whole movie. It's like, no, shut up. This doesn't concern you. It's like, oh, but you're talking about me, right? No, I'm clearly talking about...
sometimes, because Ernie Reyes Sr. is not a great actor. He's probably the worst actor in the bunch here. Nothing against him. But he doesn't seem like that skilled of an actor. And there are times where it feels like he really fucking hates Rob Schneider. And so when you put 2 and 2 together,
yeah. But yeah, that was just a fun dynamic. But what I did like, so we eventually get to them getting the story going with the restaurant attack and the ninjas coming through, breaking all this stuff, and Dad holding his own. I was like, oh shit, Dad's doing shit.
Yeah, he's just a guy who owns a burger joint, and the sons are a couple of surfer deadbeat, no good dicks. I mean, honestly, like it's a PG movie, so it's if this wasn't PG, they would be stoners.
Yeah,
is what I think they're telling us, but they can't show them
doing that.
So they have to heavily imply it.
Yeah. So the ninjas come through and attack, and we get the whole. You guys are. We get the backstory about like Colonel Chi attacking Partisan and all that shit. Elephant steps on his fucking face. Like that, I'm like, so that's why his face is up. He survived that, but the elephant stepped on him. Well, damn. But yeah, that was all cool. But there's just like lots of cool scenes with the fights. I love the choreography in the movie for the fighting,
which I would imagine was done by the Reyeses, or the Reeveses. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't know what the preferred pronunciation is, but it's spelled with a Y as in Reyes. But I believe I've definitely heard it as Ernie Reeves Jr. So whichever pronunciation it is, I would imagine it was them and their team choreographing the majority of the fights, which are awesome. I mean, if we want to jump ahead to the next big one, so like, you know, Eye Patch tells them the story. The kids are like, yeah, whatever, you're crazy. We need to go talk to the cops, which is like the right thing to do. Like for once a movie character does the thing that we're telling them to do. Like, what are you talking about? We are not going on some mystical journey. I have to go talk to the police.
You are the mystic prince of a faraway land, and you will get superpowers with your Game Gear.
So they end up getting attacked anyway and are forced out of their home because Eye Patch Dude fucking blows it up. He literally he's like, I had to, now you have to come with me.
I had no choice. Now you have to accept your destiny.
Which the last scene he was in, he said, I don't have to do anything. It's your destiny. It'll just happen. One scene later, I blew up your house. Anyway, they end up shacking up at a Patusan restaurant in Little Patusan, in Los Angeles. That fight scene in there is one of my favorite moments in this film. When Johnny receives his powers for the first time, I still to this day get goosebumps. It's so good.
And he will be the great warrior. So, and him doing that while the kids playing the video game of the fight, because his powers have been kicking in, and him just like.
Oh, I know. I missed it. It's in the other fight scene at the burger shop. But both father and son are very vocal fighters. They're very vocal fighters. And at one point, Ernie Reyes Sr. goes, "Huzzah! Ha! Wah! Skateboard! Ah!"
Wow, skateboard! Ah!
He picked up the skateboard, so he had to announce that he was beginning skateboard style.
That's awesome. Ah, skateboard! Ah! Yeah, so Yeah, that fight in the restaurant was real cool. And
yes, the kid does have future powers on his Game Gear.
yeah. So it's
which comes into play in that fight scene.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like the story starts kicking in. Turns out, like at least it's not just you're the princess and stuff. They actually are getting the superpowers and stuff. But like you said, it is one of those things where it's like, we're pretty much gonna be good in every situation. Meanwhile, Rob Schneider thinks he has superpowers because he's like, every time I say "what if," something happens. What if I do this?
He's good in this movie. I couldn't believe it while I was watching it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was just what if I lose this power? Oh my god! I said, what if I lose this power? And now I've lost the power. I had it and I lost it.
What if I got my powers back?
Yeah, he is so...
What if somebody fell?
Yeah, he's so good in this movie.
Look at who I'm talking to. It was so like, even if there was something off about it, it fits so well in this type of movie that it just worked. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
Him doing the direct to camera. That's maybe one thing I would change. I don't love it, but it doesn't ruin anything for me.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I was just talking about anything in his performance, any of his lines.
Yeah.
But like, even if it was a line where I could be like, that could have been delivered better. With this being the 90s, so 90s it is, there's a certain level of the delivery you're just expecting anyway, and it still works. And so, yeah, he did a great job in this movie, considering, Rob Schneider. He did a great job. Yeah, so eventually they go to Patazan. And
the restaurant people hook him up with a boat, which Tone Loc joins in on.
I'm trying to keep y'all from getting kidnapped. He's like,
why didn't they leave him on the dock? When Eye Patch made him unconscious, why did they leave him on the dock?
Yeah, he was just like, they took him on the boat and he woke up like,
because they knew he wanted a vacation.
He's like, I guess I'm going with you. What? I don't know. It feels like your destiny. And then he becomes the like other comic relief with Rob Schneider for the rest of the movie. Just and I'm like, all right, cool. We got the cop dude just with us now. That'll be fun.
He ends up in a lot of two shots with the little one. He's kind of paired with him for the rest of the film.
Yeah. So he comes along. The girlfriend who was betrothed to Johnny, she also comes
she's
along.
also in the crew. Kelly Hugh, which I can't think of anything directly specific right now, but I know she's gone on to do some work.
Okay, yeah. What was her character's name in the movie?
Romay?
Romay. Okay.
Romay.
Yeah, so Romay is come along with them as well. And they get to the other side and they're trying to invade and sneak through so they could cause a revolution. Sorry. And I think that's when they have to go on the cliff and go around somebody, but then they fall down and then they have to fight, and the kid gets in the car. Yeah, because the kid gets in the car and finally gets to drive, and they escape, and they're doing all this shit. He's like, "Hey, you're driving? Yeah, ain't it, bitchin'?" That caught me off guard. I don't think they cussed hardly at all for the rest of the movie, but that was just, "Yeah, ain't it, bitchin'?" I was like, "Oh wait."
Oh yeah. So yeah, him and Tolok fell, and then the crew had to get them out. That was when yeah, she did like the different language, and what did you say to those guys? You'll know on our wedding night.
Yeah.
um oh man, I'm trying to think of another. Oh yeah. I was feeling like we have the cave scene where father and son have a fight.
Oh yeah, like the fidget stuff because they needed to get the knives of KWANTSU, which he's like something you no what could buy. It's like we got knives back home. No, he's a knife. No money can buy. Oh, money can't buy knives. So and he drives Zatch so crazy with it. You need to shut up about this stuff. And Toad looks like I'd help you, but I don't have a knife.
Yeah, I'd cut him, but I don't have a knife.
It's like so
another show off of Adam's Game Gear leads them into the cave.
The hot
with the
warmer
help of a monkey.
and he's looking at the thing warmer
He's
cold
constantly mashing the D-pad and the buttons, even though they're very clearly cinematic cutscenes that he's watching every time it cuts to the screen of the Game Gear. Like there's nothing that he's playing. It's a future game. You're just watching it.
500 points.
What? But also, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't think there's even a game in the back of the console.
There are games. Shinobi was one. There's another one. Columns was another one.
He had different ones in the thing.
Yeah. Because he talked about playing Shinobi earlier, and so he had it in there. Then later, I saw the back, and it was Columns.
Okay.
So he did have games in there, but who knows what was actually on the screen. But yeah, so yeah, they had that cool fight in the cave as well with the knives or with the spear and stuff, and then he like finally accepts his, okay, I'm doing this. And then they go on that tour with the whole KWANTSU dudes. KWANTSU dudes!
KWANTSU dudes!
KWANTSU dudes! KWANTSU dudes! And that was all cool. And eventually they realized they need to get to the fortress, but they gotta cross like body of water to get there. So they use the future sight because the Game Gear doesn't work, but he uses his eyes and he just sees the trees turning into surfboards. He's like, we're going to teach y'all how to surf. And they get there, and of course, Tolok has to get the line, brothers don't surf. Man, I can't let nobody in the hood see me if I do this. I'm like, of course he's gonna say something like that. That's something that a 90s character would do. Yeah. Get the surfing scene, everybody like doing it. What's his name? Surfs and then he falls into the water, I'm pretty sure. Rob Schneider. Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. But they all make it to the other side. He's like, did you see it? I surfed. I finally surfed. And then we get assault at the castle, which lots of cool shit from everybody, including Ramine.
Lots of people. These are big shots, big setups here. Other than when Leslie Nielsen's on screen, and then there's only two other people.
Yes. So the fighting's cool. Everybody's like whooping that back and forth and shit, and then eventually it comes to the showdown with Leslie Nielsen. I think he tries to shoot Johnny and Zach gets in the way. Taking the
Zach
bullet.
takes the bullet.
Has no sign of actually being shot on him.
Yeah, he's just like, don't touch me.
It's like, okay, you know, but it's revealed Zach is his uncle. What? Zach is my uncle, not you.
And he also just Leslie Nielsen just runs away. He's got Mac, and he's got the gun. He fires one shot at Johnny. Zaj gets in the way, and Leslie Nielsen literally just like lets go of Mac and like runs. One shot, I'm done. Somebody did knock the gun out of his hand, but like,
yeah,
immediately just ran away.
He's like, fuck
we got
this.
the guy who's perpetually falling downstairs.
Climb up.
It's 3 different times.
Yeah.
Somebody sends him back down. Or he sends himself back down by
at the end, because they're like, "Hey, your side love." And then we get the final fight with Colonel Chi, and I like that he was fighting. Like when it came time to fight, he was intimidating enough. He was like. But eventually he had the whole, which they hinted at earlier, his fear of water because of his cybernetics after being stepped on by an elephant. Mm-hmm. And he eventually, I thought it was funny. Like obviously it's Leslie Nielsen, he's gonna be funny, but it was like, I don't have my gun, you have a sword. You want to fight fair? Drops the sword. Ah! And then he gets knocked into the water. He gets knocked into the water or get electrocuted to death, which is actually kind of a brutal way to end somebody in a movie like this. But Colonel G is dead.
Yes, it is. You'd think he would just be imprisoned or something.
No, that man is murdered.
This is 1993. This ain't 1996.
Yeah.
We're still killing people here.
And going back to school. Yeah, so he's crowned the new king, and his first thing as king is to be like, I'm dissolving the monarchy and giving the government back to its people. You know, Pakistan should be free. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, I'm going back home to school and going back with my dad. Yeah.
He'll probably, let's be honest, he'll probably visit very often. I mean, you're treated like a god. And you also you defeated the evil dictator of an entire country. What? You're 17.
You literally were singing Bob Red in theater 2 days ago. Yeah. And about
Which
to
of
sing
course,
it now,
because of movie magic.
You had full circle.
Because of movie magic, the religious icon that he was supposed to do that presentation for, the Baburam of Nikrob, was Nikrob Patusan. The Baburam is from Patusan.
I know this guy. Baburam, really funny. Rock out, KWANTSU dude.
KWANTSU dude.
KWANTSU.
We got a new one.
But yeah, so yeah, what else?
Is it? It's crowning ceremony, and then we have another performance of Babu Ram.
Yeah,
by the entire cast of the movie.
Yeah, because you have the Babu Ram doing the like.
Yeah, like the super high note.
So, That's great.
All right, man. I apologize for forcing you onto my whims and fancies here.
Oh, nothing to
Once again, an
apologize
incredibly
for.
selfish pick on my part that will receive a total of 4 views.
We've been on a trend of those lately, and I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, if you didn't guess, clearly we both like it. Great movie, Surf Ninjas. Check it out. So yeah, speaking of going ahead with movies from back in the day, while I didn't watch this as much as you watched that, I'm going back to my old well of animes from the 90s about fighting games. And
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, a famous fighting game series, one of the big 3 fighting game series out there, had their recent release of Tekken 8. So I decided, why not do another one of those 90s, animes about a fighting game? And we're doing Tekken, the motion picture. So yeah, that should be fun. We're continuing Omari series with representation from all of them. There may eventually be a Mortal Kombat one on this channel. Anyway, if you want to see the other stuff that we've done on this channel, you go ahead and check it out. We also have a show every Saturday called You Don't Watch Sports, where it's the 2 of us talking about topics of sports. We have 3 topics, 3 hot topics from the week. Help you sprinkle a little information into your sports conversation. It's where you're guiding light to the sea that is sports talk. You can also
Omari can also be found on YouTube on the channel Whatever We Want, doing the Whatever We Want podcast with the good friend of the show, Super Jazz, where they do just that. They talk about whatever they want.
Thank you very much. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming a lot more in 2024. Bill, you got anything you want to say to the folks?
No!
All right. Well, that's it for us. We'll see you next week. Adios.